The woman in black. Arthur Kipps had never believed in ghosts. As a young solicitor, he prided himself on his rational mind and practical approach to life. So when he was sent to the remote village of Crythin Gifford to settle the affairs of the late Mrs. Alice Drablow, he treated it as just another assignment. Mrs. Drablow had lived alone in Eel Marsh House, an imposing mansion isolated by the surrounding marshland. Arthur arrived to find the locals unusually cold and tight-lipped about the house and its former occupant. The only thing they offered him was warnings to stay away from the place after dark. Determined to prove his professionalism, Arthur ignored the warnings and set off to the house. Eel Marsh House stood ominously at the end of a long causeway, only accessible during low tide. As he crossed the causeway, thick mist rolled in from the marsh, shrouding the path in gloom. By the time he reached the house, the mist had swallowed the world around him. Inside, the house was a relic of the past, filled with heavy furniture and the scent of decay. Arthur began sorting through Mrs. Drablow's papers, occasionally distracted by the eerie silence. It wasn't until he stepped outside for fresh air that he saw her for the first time. The woman in black. She stood at a distance, dressed in an old-fashioned black dress, her face partially hidden beneath a veil. She did not move or speak. Arthur called out to her, but she remained silent, staring at him with a piercing intensity. Unnerved, Arthur blinked, and she was gone. Shaken, he returned to the village and mentioned the woman to the locals, only to be met with stiff silence and fearful glances. The innkeeper's wife finally told him, in a trembling voice, that he had seen the ghost of the woman in black, a malevolent spirit said to bring death and despair wherever she appeared. Undeterred, Arthur returned to Eel Marsh House the next day, determined to finish his work. But the atmosphere inside the house had changed. Doors creaked open by themselves, strange footsteps echoed through empty corridors, and whispers seemed to come from the walls. The woman in black appeared again, always at a distance, her presence filled with malice. As Arthur searched through the house's records, he uncovered a tragic story. Alice Drablow had lost a child in the marsh, a boy taken by the tides. The woman in black was the boy's mother, driven mad by grief. Her spirit haunted the house, seeking vengeance on anyone who dared to trespass. The final night at Eel Marsh House, Arthur felt her presence. He awoke to find her standing at the foot of his bed, her veil lifted to reveal a pale, twisted face filled with rage. He fled the house in terror, leaving his work unfinished. Years later, Arthur would learn that the woman in black's curse had followed him, as it followed all who saw her. It was not long after his return to London that tragedy struck. His own child was killed in a sudden, inexplicable accident, leaving Arthur to wonder if the woman in black had claimed another victim. PLZ, subscribe my YouTube channel to watch more videos. Thanks.